Hi everyone, I'm JP, and this is another game development update video thing. I want to show you what I've been working on lately. Let's load up Playski, my ASCII art animation and game creation tool. So, yeah, I think last time I talked about rooms, adding a whole concept of different rooms in a game world that a game world can be divided into. And in the past couple of weeks I've been finishing up the work on that feature and also creating this example game, which I'm going to run through it now, and then we'll modify it in a little bit, and that'll give you sort of an idea of how game creation in Playski works. So yeah, this is just a little example game that I made. It's called Maze. It's included with Playski, so if you download the build off of itch.io, then you can boot it up for yourself using the GUI that I just showed you. And I've hidden the edit UI stuff here just so we can experience it as you would if we had launched it in game mode. So yeah, we've got a little character here. This is all sort of kind of like ZZT, if you've ever played that old game. It's an ASCII-based game by Tim Sweeney, one of the founders of Epic Games. And yeah, we can control our little person going around here. We can go into another room here, and we run into this little character here, and it says blocked, need an axe. And look, there's an axe. There's an ambient sound playing in that screen anytime you go into the caves. It plays a little ambient sound. This is just a little town area. I just wanted to build something that had some stuff going on, you know. We can walk up to these NPCs there. Some of them talk to us. Well, hello there. This room says it's a bakery, by which I mean it's a box with bakery written next to it. But the baker says, sorry, all out of bread today. And then these, I don't know what's up with these weirdos. I originally created them to be little creatures, but I guess they're just going around. Anyway, what's clearly important is the mysterious ruins. So let's go into that. And so, like this example game, I was just kind of building this out. You know, it's obviously kind of silly, and you know, things happen in kind of an ad hoc kind of way. And I built this partly just to show off different capabilities. This is a camera that's following. I'll wait for the bus to go by. This is a camera that's following the player around. And then this is a camera that's fixed. And hey, we're cool. Now we're back at that room with the axe. So we'll pick that up. And we just broke through that barrier there. There's another barrier that's keeping us from going into this cool looking labyrinth. Chop. Alright, and so now we're here, and we can go all over the place. But let's go down south here first. What an adventure we're having. Alright, cool. And now we've got a little key. So that's good. We left our axe behind. This is just, you know, this isn't like a limitation to the engine or anything. I just decided that it would be simpler for this example game if you could only hold one object at a time and, you know, you auto-picked it up and dropped the other one. So yeah, we're going to carry our key around because it looks like there's a thing up here that we can unlock something with. But actually, let's go down here first, just because... Yeah, see, this is some sort of destination. There's some sort of shimmering portal type thing. We're in a weird room. And it says, oh, to open this gate here, we need the artifact of Zendor. And so that's what we were unlocking by getting that key. And this is a thing that looks like an artifact, and it's it's positioned in a suitably dramatic place, so let's pick it up. Alright, cool, it's the artifact of Zendor. The artifact of Zendor is different every time, like you see it going through all those characters, and it freezes on the character it's on that frame when you pick it up. And this time it was like kind of a little boomerang, or, you know, whatchamacallit shape. And that's our artifact. Alright, let's see what lies beyond. And it opened the thing, and now there's a thingy, and let's touch it. And yeah, and now we've been transported to this space that is outside the game world. Welcome to outside. We've still got our artifact. And originally I wanted to be able to just you were outside of this and you couldn't actually go into the levels, but that there were some technical issues that came up that meant that I couldn't do that. I'll probably fix it later, but yeah, so that's the end of this little game. You know, it's just like you end up finding this artifact that transports you outside of the world, and you can walk around, and this is, you know, giving you a look behind the curtain and showing you how this world was knit together, because actually, you know, it's an example game, and it's meant to be something that developers can look at and, you know, see how things are put together in my weird little engine here. So so yeah, let's boot this back up. So that's the example game. Let's boot it back up, because what I want to show now is, with the debug stuff, I want to add a new room to this thing. And I think I've got everything in place. I can't promise that there won't be any crashes or anything, but I think all of this stuff is solid now. So so pretty recently I added like a whole menu bar to game mode, and there's all kinds of stuff you can do in it, like these are all the features related to rooms. You know, we can like change which room, we can choose which room we want to go to. We can say show every room in the world. We can pan around and just kind of edit stuff freely as we like. There's also a bunch of like, there's some invisible debug objects here which I can toggle the visibility of. And actually that includes this thing that's like in the far foreground here. That's a camera marker, which means that if we walk into some of these rooms, then it snaps the camera to those camera markers. And the way that we do that is, see, we're in the room starting here. We can say set this room's camera marker, and then on the side we can pick the thing that we want. We can type it in. Can, you know, use this ability, this cool like list move navigation capability to choose the object easily. So yeah, what I want to do here is select this thing, because actually what I want to do here is open up a little passageway to the north of here and just make a little room north of town that's just got something happening in it. So I'm going to click on, you can't see it quite as clearly with the without the CRT shader. I should probably just thicken up these little selected outlines. Anyway, yeah, so I've selected the main background art here, and I'm going to say let's edit this in art mode. So here we are back in art mode, where we can like choose characters and colors and draw and stuff however we want, you know, whatever. And we're looking at a piece of art here that is just like the entire background piece. And this is what we see, but then there's also this other layer here, which is the collision. And it's just another tile, and you can use any character, but I like to use these solid squares just because it makes it very clear, like what you're actually, you know, where you can go and where you can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a little gap here, and I'm going to go up here. All right, and so now I'm going to save over this, what we've got here, and now if we refresh, we can go outside this room. Of course, this room's camera is fixed. It's not set to track the player in this room, so we just walk off and then we're out of the screen. So what we can do is we can zoom out a little bit, and we can say add a room. So let's call this like demo room or something. Nothing too exciting. And let's spawn in an object, and let's say let's spawn in a static tile background object, which just means that it's, you know, a thing that's like multiple tiles, and you can paint the tiles in art mode, and also they have that collision layer that we can paint on. So yeah, this is what a default object looks like. It's just got like it's the I don't know, there's not a piece of art for this. So yeah, and actually I'm gonna like I'm going to move this back in Z a little bit so that we can move when the player who's at world 0 in the depth layers can move on top of it. So now let's go back into art mode here, and let's paint like a new piece of art here. Let's like, I don't know, I just kind of picked an arbitrary size, and I don't even know what I want this room to be. Let's make it like a volcano with some lava or something. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but you know, and then just a little bit of the good lava stuff. I have no idea where I'm going with this. It's just, you know. And this is also like, you know, I'm being kind of fast and loose here just because, you know, we're prototyping basically. We're just sketching something in because now we can set this to be... Oh yeah, and I think I need to save it and refresh it. Yeah. Okay, so now we're in this room. Oh wait, we need to be in the demo room. Let's see. Let me add this object to this room. Okay, yeah, cool. Again, let me go back in, and just because it will complain if I don't set a little collision layer. And yeah, let's just paint on some collision here. Just enough to like kind of keep the player contained. All right. So yeah, but of course if we go off the bottom edge of the screen here, we don't return to the thing. At this point, when we're like stitching these two rooms together, it's a lot easier to do this when we can view all of the rooms. We can view both rooms together. So let's do that. Okay, so we've got these things lined up, and actually let's go and kind of go back and forth here. We can just sew that right up. And then go to the collision layer and make it so that there's like an airtight seal so that the player can't get outside of the world collision. At some point I probably should like go through and be like every, you know, just easy auto-generate collision based on every tile that's not like a certain color or something. Just because I really am just tracing over the visual art for the level, but this is fine for now. Okay, so we still haven't solved this problem of like, you know, like transitioning the camera or whatever. So what we'll do now is we've got this room with a name here called demo. So first of all, let's actually, yeah, there's one more thing that I want to do before we hook up the room transition. I'm going to spawn an object. I'm going to spawn an object called a location marker, and there it is. And I'm going to call this like demo cam or something. Now I'm going to select it, and I'm going to kind of like position this camera like just, you know, by panning the view as I would like in art mode or something. I'm going to position it where I want it, and then I'm going to say move selected objects to camera. Boom. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is say set this room's camera to demo cam. So now when we enter and exit this room, we're going to the camera's going to pop to that. All right. So the only thing left to do is set this room to so that we want to like set up. There's a few different ways that you can travel between rooms in this little library of objects that I've made. One of them is like if you remember this room, there's actually two rooms that lead off to the south edge of this. So I actually had to use triggers for this. Actually, I'm explaining this backwards. Let me explain the easier case first. And yeah, let me turn off the debug objects just because they're kind of getting up on our grill here. So so we're in the demo room, and I'm going to select this object here, and I'm going to say set this room's edge object, which is to say like give us an object to treat as this room's like outer boundaries. And just because I'm using one piece of background art per room here, like that's what I'm, you know, it happens to line up nicely. So, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't rename. All right, well this is fine for the demo. Okay, so now this room is this room's boundaries, but that doesn't do much on its own. The thing that the point at which this becomes useful is I can also set this room's edge warps, which is to say now that it has an idea of what this room's boundaries are considered, we can tell the game to teleport the player when they go off the left edge, the right edge, the top edge, the bottom edge. So that's what I'm going to do now, and it looks like our bottom edge is the one that leads to town here. So let's do that. Uh-oh, did something mess up? I don't know, there's some sort of keyboard focus thing. Like I said, still work in progress, you know. Have a few bugs to fix still. Okay, so let's choose the bottom edge. the room, that's right. So let's say that town is the bottom edge warp. So now, when we move here, okay, and there's a crash, so cool. Yep, still a couple of things on the old to fix list. Oh no, and did I not save my my changes to the art? Anyway, so yeah, we've teleported off the bottom edge, and now back in the town room here, let's set a warp for the top edge to ruins. Wait, no, that's not what I meant to do. Ruins is another room. Ruins has nothing to do with this. Yeah, it's demo. No. It's been a long day, folks. Alright. Okay, so now I'll save. And oh my gosh, did I completely not save my changes to either of these rooms? Alright, well. Wait, I wanted to select both of these. Anyway, we'll edit the art for this guy. Alright. Oop. Okay. Yeah, and so, yeah, we're in these two different rooms here, and we can go back and forth between them. And now that we've got our new room, let's like put something in it, you know? I'm gonna put one of these NPCs here, which is really just like a little person who stands around, and when you bump into them, they say something like, "Well, hello there. Stay a while." Yeah, and actually, I haven't really shown much of what the I haven't really shown much on the code side, because there's a whole bunch of like, you know, Python classes for little game objects that I've defined specific to this game. You know, like all of this stuff is, none of these are really like core engine features, like these little NPCs that wobble around and bump into stuff, and, you know, locks and keys and all that sort of stuff. These are all defined on the game code side, and they're read in dynamically, and they hot reload, or they reload when you reset the game, and it reloads all the modules. So let's make another. Let's make another little class here. Alright, and I gave them a goofy message to do. And yeah, let's actually get rid of our old person there and make a, what did I call this? Maze Demo NPC. Oh wait, do I need to reset? Yeah. Alright, let's place a Maze Demo NPC, which we just defined in code. Alright, cool. And just to show that like this stuff is all potentially dynamic, let's give it like let's make it print like a random number, because it, you know, a lot of these expressions really are loading, yeah, and then it prints a random number, and it's like different each time. And yeah, like these little game, you know, there's very little code in a lot of these game-specific classes, like the little dudes that kind of like wobble around and stuff. That's just, there's like 2 lines of code that are telling them to oh no, actually this is the thing that changes them a random color. Yeah, this is the code that tells those things to move around, and it's calling code that is off in the main game object class. So just generally, like the way game creation in Playski works is there's this game object class that kind of has all of the functionality that is like part of the core. And then when you make your own little game module thing, you can just import those and extend them and be like, a Maze NPC is a type of game object, and it has this thing, and it has this thing, and you can just define your own code functions and stuff. And most of these, though, like started colliding and stopped colliding, are part of the core tech, whereas picked up and used are part of the, just little shorthand functions that I built for this demo, for this example game. So yeah, I think that's kind of an overview. Like, we made a new little room in our goofy little world here, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good rundown of like all the different stuff that I've added to this game to this tool and stuff recently. There's actually, so I built all of this stuff because there's another game that is sort of ZZT-like that I don't want to say anything about. If I talk about it, it's just going to ruin it. It's not a big surprise or anything, but I just, I want to kind of keep it a little more secret. But yeah, so building this game was actually kind of a good like warm-up for that. It was like making sure that all of my tech, was in the right place for it, and that I could build a world out of multiple chunks and change them around and edit the ASCII art for it easily. So yeah, like what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some kind of game design stuff. Like, I'm sketching out some levels on paper and just thinking about how I'm going to put together this game. But my tech is basically done now, and that's a really good feeling. So I don't know how long this game that I'm starting will take me, but I'm hoping to have it out like by the end of the year. Not like super quick turnaround, but Anyway, thank you very much for watching. The other thing I should definitely mention is that there are now Mac builds of Playski. If you go onto itch.io 0.7.1, there's a DMG file, which I was told was the preferred way to install Mac applications. And there's a whole build process for that now. Like, you can build your own package if you want to, based on the very latest source. But basically, Playski runs nicely on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and I'm really happy about that. And yeah, thank you, Jason Buck, for donating the hardware with which I could mess around with OS X and make that build. Thank you to Aaron Cogden, who figured out the very last little bug that was keeping the build from running. So yeah, that's on Mac now, and if you're a Mac user, then you can make some cool ASCII art, or if you're really, really intrepid, you can try to make a game with this framework that is slowly coming together. Yeah, so that's all I got for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll join me again next time. Yeah, one last thing is thank you very much to all of my supporters on Patreon, who helped me get this far and are continuing to be a source of support and inspiration for this stuff that I'm doing. Thank you. Have a good night.